as fast as humanly possible. It's happening all over again.
Welcome back, friends. We are days away from the Premier League starting again. We have
Actual days.
actual days, and honestly, by the time this releases with our track record, it could be hours.
It could have already happened.
For all we
No,
know.
we're just kidding. We'll get it out before then.
Yeah, at least the audio version.
Yes, at least the audio version. But yeah, what? It starts on Friday? Isn't
Yeah,
that the
Friday.
first official game, Friday?
It is. I believe it's City and Burnley.
Well, that's going to be.
We'll talk about that. Well, friends, welcome back for
Wow.
another exciting season of Inside the Grounds. For all our new friends, I am Mateo Pelia, and I am joined by my very goodest of friends, Andrew Hale.
Goodest.
Very goodest of friends.
All right. First and last names. There we are.
Yeah. I realized last season we barely said our names. And, I don't know if we should say our names more often to, be more approachable.
I think, yeah, approachability is what we're going for here.
It is. As we do this on opposite sides of the country.
Quite literally opposite sides of the country. Friends, groundskeepers. I am in California right now on a little family vacation. And of course, I'm going to take the time out to talk to you all and look at my goodest of friends face.
Goodest of friends is really the highest of compliments over here. Um, I am very excited to be doing this with one of my goodest of friends once again. Our goal for this year is to be a bit more consistent than last season. We started off hot, we started off on fire and an inferno, and then we went to ashes, and like a mighty phoenix, we rise. We will try
Just
to be
like
doing
Arsenal.
just like Arsenal. Ooh, early prediction spoiler out of you.
I just meant started off hot and just kind of took a nosedive, but we started to come back.
All right. Well, let's go through a rundown real quick of what the tactics are for today's episode. We're going to be giving it's really just an episode about predictions for the season. We're going to go through who we think
Yeah.
are the top four, 5 through 7, who we think are going to be relegated, and then also we have some new friends to welcome into the Premier League.
Finally.
Finally. So it's a jam-packed episode. We're going to try to get as much done as quickly as possible, but not slur through our words, not, murmur, and hopefully we're all going to have some fun by the end of this.
I'm like 2 margaritas deep, so we'll see how this goes.
All right. Friends, as a heads up, Andrew and I have not collaborated for any of our predictions. We literally have no idea what the other person is about to say. So if we agree, great minds think alike. If we don't agree, at least one of us should be right at the end of the season. So a win is a win.
True.
A win for the pod is a win for the pod.
Oh, exactly. It doesn't matter which of us wins. It's all a big W. I mean, I told you that Nottingham Forest was not going to get relegated. You did not believe me.
I did not. This season at the end, what we'll do for this season is we'll actually go back to this episode when the season ends and see just how wrong we were.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be fun.
So we're gonna do
I
that.
like that idea.
Let's start with the top four predictions real quick. Are we going in any specific order for this top four? How did you do your top four?
I mean, I feel like when specific order is hard because I mean, I think this is going to be even more fun than last year.
This season?
Yeah, oh yeah. The season,
yeah,
the
100%.
podcast, it's all going to be great. But as I looked over it, I just don't.
Had some
I don't
regrets.
see a whole lot changing. to be very honest.
Okay.
Like
You sound very
of the
sad
big
about
teams
this.
have. I mean, it's gonna. What do we want to have Man City win another one?
I
I
mean,
don't.
do I want it? No. Are there worse teams that could win it? Yes.
Maybe we'll
Th-
have a Luton Town just absolute dynamite run like Leicester did in like the 13, 14th season or whatever year that was.
that the legendary of legendary runs, which will honestly not be repeated again in our lifetimes. Going through this top four, I ranked them. I did a 1 through 4.
Okay. All right.
Um, I can go through the whole list real quick, and then we can discuss kind of each team and where that goes. We'll compare it to your list. At number one, got to go Man City. this team's this team's already gone
Yeah.
back to back to back. They're looking for their fourth straight Premier League title, which no team has ever done,
On
which
the
I
road,
am
no.
which I am very surprised by. We've had some great managers and some great teams over the years, but it is really difficult to repeat that often because also the teams who are at the top of the Premier League consistently, they are also in top European competition in the Champions League, and also these players, a lot of them are probably playing, in the World Cup, Euros, Copa America, AFCON, whatever it may be. They're also playing in top international tournaments. So the consistency for these teams, it's difficult. I think if Man City proved anything last
Yes.
year, is that the two things you need to absolutely dominate is one, a striker that's a cyborg, right? We can't ignore that. And then two,
No.
depth.
Which they only added more of.
They did, but they also lost some pieces. Though. They lost a bit.
They,
They,
they
they did
lost they
lose
lost two
Mahrez
guys
and
that
Gundogan.
matter.
They lost two guys that matter, though. Mahrez and Gundogan are
Yeah,
starters
but
on
they
any other
filled it
Premier League
with
team.
four other guys that matter.
How many? Which four are you going with?
Wait, for top four?
No.
Or
Which
just
four
players?
guys did City get that you think replace everyone?
Let me pull it up real quick. I was just like looking at it because I was looking at like the transfer market website.
Because I only found two
What two?
when I was looking through it. They got Kovacic.
That's a W. That's a good.
Wow,
That's good for them.
it is.
That
He's
is
gonna
right.
he's gonna he's gonna no he's gonna fill in really nicely.
He's dynamite.
The yeah.
I
So
mean, Jasko, Kovacic, and then they got Cancelo back, which hopefully he stays. I think he
they
would
did get
bolster their
Cancelo back, but
defense.
like he was a weird thing to
He's
say. Like,
good.
did they get him? Did they not get him? Because like, who knows if he's gonna stay there? But like Man City,
He'll
as
stay
long
there.
as they can have 3 or 4 injuries to this team and still compete for the Premier League title. That's how
Oh yeah,
insanely talented this team is, how much depth they have. They still have the best manager in the world for club teams, leading the charge. I'm excited to
yes.
see Phil Foden take another step forward this year. Maybe he
I
can
think he
get one.
will.
I think he will as well. He's a young guy. He has embraced the Pep way, and I think he might. I think he's going to start more games this year than he did last year.
I would say yeah. I mean, even like with like Mara's gone, they're going to be able to push, like probably move some players around. I think he'll definitely get more time.
I don't want to understate how important Gundogan was to this team though, because he did step up in some really big moments for this team. Um,
Literally the last half of the season.
yeah, I mean they do still have De Bruyne, so they still have one of the best center mids in the world, and
They
Kovacic
do,
is
but
going to
they
be a great
can't. He
complementary
can't.
piece.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, but I think that we all. I think we all like look at De Bruyne and we know he's an amazing player, but I feel like sometimes he's like not talked about. He doesn't do what Gundogan did last season. He's always just consistently good, but Gundogan like kind of saved a lot of their season because of how well he played.
He did. I think Gundogan probably had more. He had higher moments than De Bruyne, but De Bruyne for the entire
Mm,
season was there for this squad, and
always.
he's always there. He's not a flashy guy. He's not going to make a lot of noise in the media. He's just there to do his
Mm,
job, win games, and go home.
Yeah, which is pretty much all you need to do with Pep. That's all he
That's
wants
all
to
you
have
need.
happen.
That's all you need. For in my rankings, number two, I got Arsenal. I think they will compete again this year. I think Arteta probably learned a great deal from last season when they bottled the league, and I think,
Actually,
but I do think their lack of depth last season was shown, and I think Arteta is going to be more prepared, especially since they're adding Champions League to their schedule this year,
yeah,
and they added arguably the best player in the transfer window this offseason in Declan Rice, and they didn't lose a lot. That's which I also think is important for this team.
yeah. I mean, let's be honest, they only really lost one player that was kind of more of a liability than anything.
Xhaka was such a liability. Dude was getting yellows every single day. It was
Yep.
it was I can't say it was becoming a distraction for the team because I'm not in the players' heads, but it definitely can't help the team. He wasn't a guy that would play tough to fire up his team. He just seemed angry. Like the man needs to do
Yeah,
some
he kind
yoga
of
and breathing exercises.
yeah, he kind of just always was like balls to the wall and just out for blood pretty much any game.
Yeah, and I think the addition of Rice so much greater for this team than the loss of Xhaka. I want to know your opinion on Kai Havertz coming to
I was
this
just
team.
thinking about that.
And you know
I
my
mean,
feelings on Havertz.
I don't rate Kai Havertz very highly. He was like I feel like a mid player in Germany. He didn't do well at Chelsea. He never scored.
He did not. He had
Like
what
why?
do we say,
What?
like 8 goals, 7 goals?
Yeah, like he didn't do anything really to like make him such a standout player, and he went to Arsenal for like a decent amount of money. So I maybe Arteta's and the like staff see something in him that we're just completely overlooking, but I am kind of at a loss as to why they thought it was worth him. He was worth that much money when they brought in Rice and had so many other options out in the transfer market. But I am
Um,
excited for Timber.
ooh, Timber, that was a good pickup by this squad.
Their defense was they that's where they lacked a lot of depth last season because once oh I crap I just completely blanked his name, but they had a central defender that got hurt and was just a rock until he got hurt, and then that's kind of when they started getting scored on a lot.
And that was all about their depth from last season.
Mm.
They didn't have a lot of it. Now, I will say a lot of teams don't carry a lot of depth on their defense, right? Most of the depth usually comes in the midfield because there's also so many
Mm-hmm.
guys to play in there.
Yeah,
Havertz, you know how I feel about him. I'm going to have to give him some benefit of the doubt because we see what happens when players leave Chelsea. And we see the success they have at other clubs immediately upon leaving Chelsea. It could
who
have
are
been a
you talking
Chelsea issue.
about?
Lukaku.
Yeah. He did. He even do very
Timo
well enter.
Werner did amazing as soon as he left.
Yeah, he was scoring again, like literally the first game he started.
Yeah. So if it was just one guy or the other, I don't have much of an argument. I think I can make a case that those two guys, because they also have a lot of hype around them, the same way Havertz had a lot of hype when he
Mm-hmm.
went to Chelsea.
Yeah,
It could have been the coaching wasn't great, the team was in shambles from top
literal.
down. They it was I just always think of the Dark Knight when the Joker just burns the money. That's what it felt like Chelsea was doing.
I mean, it kind of still feels like that.
Still feels like that. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm also going to give Arteta some praise here, and I think he can turn it around for Havertz. And Havertz doesn't have to be the guy on this team anymore. There's a lot of
He's not
players,
going to be the guy.
and that's great. I don't think he should be forced to be the guy on any team he's on, but I think he could be a great
Yeah,
piece. Now Chelsea had like 3 guys who could do exactly what Havertz could last year, and
but
so
none of
it
them could
didn't.
do it.
None of them could do it, but they were all in the same like skill set, skill range.
Yeah,
And I think I'm very excited to actually see what Havertz could do this year under the guidance of Arteta. I think Arteta is the second or third best manager in the Premier League.
that's a bold statement.
Second or third, I'm not going to give him first.
No, definitely not first. No one can. No one's better than Pep right now.
No one's better than Pep. And Klopp, I think Klopp's a good manager, really good manager. Um, I don't, I'm not as high up on him as other people are, mostly because I believe for the amount of praise he's gotten or his reputation, he should have won more trophies along the way. And that's
Yeah,
why I'm not putting him in that top three category because my other guy is Deserby. I think he is the third best manager in this league.
he is. And this is going to be fun to. Honestly, it's going to be interesting to watch him now because Brighton are losing players.
Yeah,
Players are leaving, but I
I
mean they
am
still
worried about
have.
them.
Yeah, I mean they'll still do well. They've got more money now. They're in European competitions, so I don't think that there's going to be lacking players that want to come and play for this team. But they are losing good players, players
They
that
are.
made huge differences last season.
And was it, I believe at the end of last season, we stated there was one team in the past that was similar to Brighton, where great academy, great developing guys. They bought guys who did had players without big names. Maybe it was like Sheffield, and
I
unfortunately,
don't
because
remember.
they never made a big jump, and therefore they got relegated. Which is why I think it's Sheffield or Southampton, one of the two. But moving on,
Too.
we're going through the top four. I got
Yes,
United at number three. Um, I don't see any reason they're going to
I
regress from
accept
last
that.
season.
They
I don't see why they're
shouldn't.
going to regress. They only got better in this offseason. I'm going to bring up two players. You can tell me how you feel about them. Mason Mount.
Good.
You happy with that? He's going to fit right in. No
You
concerns.
didn't. You didn't say I had to explain.
Well, that was my follow up.
No, yeah, no, I'm happy with that. I think he'll do a good job. I think like people have been always questioning Ten Hag's like reasoning as to why he wanted players, why he wanted to bring in Lissandro Martinez, like a 5'8" central defender, and everyone saw how amazing he was. Ten Hag has a keen eye for players, and I think that he sees the potential in what like Mount can actually bring to this team.
I
So I'm
do
happy
love
with
the
it.
I do love the Ten Hag culture that he immediately implemented for this organization.
Oh
An
yeah,
organization that needed to find a culture, again, a competitive culture, winning attitude. He brought that immediately. He made some tough calls last season, especially with the Ronaldo issues that were going on. He
yup.
he stuck to his guns, and overall, end of the season, it worked out for you all.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely finished, I think, better than a lot of people thought we would have. There was obviously there with all, I think all teams. There were some shit games, there were ups and downs, but I'm still very happy that we even like made top four, considering how the season started. We had like a negative 9 goal differential
Weren't
in
you
3 games.
weren't you like 20th at one point within the first couple of weeks?
Yes, pretty sure within like game week 3, we were last place with like literally a negative like 8 goal differential.
The next player, I'm actually not going to name a player. I'm going to name a position.
You should
Goalkeeper.
name a player.
A
Oh,
goalkeeper, because
thank
it's a two
God.
sided coin.
I'm
Tell
so
me,
happy that we got this goalkeeper.
I'm gonna give you the floor. Please speak upon all United fans about this goalkeeper transition you've had over the offseason.
I mean, there's going to be some love, there's going to be some hate because it's been 12 years, I think, since De Gea like signed and
It's
started
been
with
12
United.
years.
Yeah, he's been here for a long time. He was part of the last Premier League
2011.
winning team. Yeah,
Wow.
he was the goalkeeper for Sir Alex's last Premier League winning season when he retired.
Did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I don't think that he has. I don't think he's kept up with like the style of play that goalkeepers are expected to have and need to have nowadays.
He's from a previous
He's not.
generation.
He is, and he's never. He hasn't changed what he does. And honestly, he may only be in his 30s, but it's to me he was getting old and sloppy.
I
So I'm happy to have Onana, who is young, can play the ball with his feet like he's a field player, is smart. And I don't know if you saw like on any social media, but there was a one of the friendlies we had. If Harry Maguire massively messed something up, and Onana just went at him,
Oh, I saw that video. I was so
and I
excited.
was just like, yes,
And that's what you want out of your goalkeeper. When the defense messes up, goalie's supposed to tell them exactly what they did wrong, how to fix it,
yup.
yell at them if he needs to, and then they move on. They're professionals. They can handle it. They need to be able to handle it. If they can't handle a little bit of yelling, get off the pitch.
Harry Maguire can't handle anything, literally not even a soccer ball.
Are you concerned at all that teams will start taking shots from farther out against Onana?
Absolutely not. I mean, even though he did get scored on from the halfway line in a friendly,
He really did. It was really funny. That's exactly what I was referencing. But no, he
yeah,
is a really good keeper. I think he's a great upgrade. I 1000% agree with you that De Gea doesn't have the modern day skill set that goalkeepers are supposed to. And really, what we mean by that, friends, is goalkeepers nowadays have to be able to play with their feet. They have to be able to receive a ball back from their defender and then distribute the ball back out. He comes from
yes,
I mean, we just said he's been playing with United since 2011. He comes from that like half generation of goalkeepers, maybe right before the sweeper keeper became universal amongst all
yeah,
teams and almost a requirement for everyone. Some keepers have, done better with that over the years. It is difficult after a certain age to all of a sudden start working on that touch that you haven't had for 20 plus years of your life, especially as a goalie.
yeah.
And I believe when De Gea was on, he was one of the best keepers in the world. The problem was you had like a 50-50 shot, and you were really just hoping the ball wasn't passed back to him, that it was shot at him.
Oh, anytime the ball ever went to his feet, I like even just this recent season, I had the fear. I had so much fear because he would make dumb decisions in passing that ball as well. And then I'm pretty sure at one point Ten Hag was just like, "Hey, if you get the ball, just kick it. Don't try to pass it."
Yeah. And you guys
I'm
didn't really
pretty
have an
sure that
option.
he and no, but he and Maguire single handedly basically got us kicked out of the Europa League last season.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun time for y'all with those two. I don't know. I mean, I know why you guys still have Maguire because no one wanted him. But damn, you like couldn't load him out to an
And
MLS team.
actually, apparently, West Ham are doing, according to the Fabrizio Instagram, West Ham are doing a double bid for McTominay and Maguire, somewhere around like 70 million for both.
Whatever the price is, just do it.
Yes,
I don't care if they're gonna refill your concessions for a year. Just do it.
we need to like. I do like McTominay as a player, and again, these are just. I mean, obviously these two are rumors, but apparently West Ham are pushing for it. I like McTominay, always have. He works hard, but
You don't need them.
we no, we really don't. We have a lot of really good midfielders, and he hasn't ever really reached that like next step.
I did see a report recently that De Gea was linked to like Bayern. I
I
hope
saw
that
that
never
too.
happens. Well,
I don't know. I don't want that for you.
Bayern also just lost our backup goalie, who was our starter for most of the year, because Neuer is too old and he's just injured. And we, for some
Well, are
reason,
you? Go ahead,
go ahead.
sir.
We just
Oh,
haven't.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this. We just
yeah.
haven't found a replacement for Neuer yet. We keep trying to get like 1 year deal guys instead of like buying the next young goalkeeper who's like a prodigy. And that's what we did with Neuer. And Neuer's been with us for so long that we keep just finding one replacements because also no one wants to be the guy that says, "Hey Neuer, you're benched."
I mean, who would?
Yeah,
But I mean, Speaking on that same front, weren't you guys trying to sign David Raya from Brentford, and then he decided that he wants to play for Arsenal?
We may have. Yeah. Yeah, isn't he like
David Raya is a first.
he's a
He's a
40
first team
million dollar
goalkeeper.
transfer and he's going to go sit
Yeah.
back up at Arsenal. And Ramsdale's not a bad goalie.
No,
I don't
I don't
understand.
get
I
that
did
one.
not understand that. Did not understand that decision whatsoever. And they had Matt Turner as a backup. He's a really good backup to have on your team. Ramsdale, I understand this. Like you don't want goalies to get complacent, and you want to give them competition and make them think that at any point their job could just be on the line. But I think Matt Turner should have been enough to let that happen and to get that competition in Ramsdale's head. You paid $40 million to keep a dude on the bench
Yeah,
because
yeah.
goalies are playing
I
every
don't
game.
understand. Yeah,
Like goalies aren't getting days off depending on which competition it is and who you're playing.
true.
I don't know. Um,
I don't know. Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. We're gonna move on to my last team. So far, I've said Man City, Arsenal, United. Do you want to take a guess, unless you've already looked at it, as to who my fourth team is?
I'm like looking at mine because I bet you we don't have the same fourth team.
We might not.
Probably don't.
Who do you have?
Newcastle.
Do you have the same top three as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you went Newcastle. I went Liverpool.
You think they're actually going to do better this season?
I do because I don't think they're going to do worse than last season. Liverpool did not start off well. Halfway through the
No.
season, they were getting a lot of flack for how they were playing and not playing up to the Liverpool standard. And you and I had discussed it. Liverpool was still middle of the table, and that was their worst performance.
Yeah.
And they did lose some key pieces this offseason, all of them to like the Middle East, and they lost James Milner to Brighton. But they also got McAllister, which I think was a
That's a
pretty good
W.
pickup.
That's a grade A for them.
Yeah, and they got a Dominic, what's his name, as well. They had a good offseason. He had he played for I think it was somewhere in the Bundesliga. Dominic Soboslai? I don't know. But he
That's
was really
me.
good. He had 6 goals, 8 assists. His 8 assists would have been tied for like eighth in the Premier League if he had eight assists in the Premier League. I'd say that's pretty good.
Okay.
And this team does like to pass the ball around a lot. They have a lot of weapons, especially on offense. The thing I'm really concerned about is their defense. You and I loved when Trent Alexander-Arnold pushed up, went into that midfield role, and distributed the ball. We loved that. We had been saying that all season, and we'll take our
Yup.
commission for that. Thanks, Klopp. But they never got a new right back, so I am a bit concerned about that.
They just won't play with one.
They might not. I am a bit concerned about that. That is going to be an issue for this team. They have a new captain now, Virgil van Dijk.
Didn't he
But
captain them before as well? Like on and off?
it was Henderson. Henderson was the captain. He was the real captain. Van Dyke is the permanent number one captain now. Each team has like 3 captains because it like goes down the line in
Yeah.
case someone gets subbed or isn't in the game or whatever. I mean, but they lost Henderson, Firmino, Milner. Those are big losses for this club. They've been there for a while. They knew Klopp's system. Klopp has been criticized in the past for not changing his style based upon the
He did
team.
that.
Okay, we're part of the media now. Klopp's been criticized for not
We are the
changing
media.
his style, being stagnant, and not being flexible. So I am a
Hmm.
little. There is some concern in my head about how long will it take this team to figure out themselves. And what is nice is that Klopp's had an entire offseason to figure out how he wants to use these players, move them around, shuffle things. But I believe this team has every ounce of potential to finish top 4 and get back to Champions League.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think they can do good things this year, but I don't know. I think that teams will have more fight. I definitely think Newcastle is going to come out just roaring this year, and I think they're going to be awesome to watch.
I do. It was a tough decision because I was going back and forth between Newcastle and Liverpool. I think this is going to be an exciting top six, top seven race, and maybe not top one, depending on what happens. But I do
Come
like
on, we
this.
got we got Holland versus Holland when United's play.
That's right. But I do think it'll be an exciting top 6 to 7 this season. Um, Newcastle, I have them at number 5 actually, like right below.
Okay,
And I can see with Liverpool going back and forth all year. Honestly, I'm excited for those matchups. Uh, Newcastle hasn't really lost a lot of important pieces um, in the offseason,
no,
unless you're going to count like Saint Maximin as the big loss piece. I think just
oh,
physically he's a big loss piece, but I don't think strategy and tactics wise they'll miss him that much.
absolutely not. He scored one goal last season.
Yeah,
I
he
think
just has a cool name.
he didn't do a whole lot. Yeah, he's got a cool name. He has cool hair. He was fast as fuck. But no, he didn't. I don't think he did enough to really like make his departure anything that's going to feel like a huge loss.
No. Who do you have in your 5 through 7?
Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool.
Oh, we're very different. Did you look at mine?
City, so City, Arsenal, United, Newcastle, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool.
I have Newcastle, Chelsea, Aston Villa.
What the? Okay.
Um, okay, so you and I are pretty much in agreement between Liverpool and Newcastle. Those two are kind of close. We could see them going either way.
They
You
could
and I
go
both,
either way.
yeah, you and I both have Chelsea in the 5 through 7 conversation.
You
They've
didn't
had a
even care
very.
about Tottenham.
I'll tell you why. I Chelsea have had a very busy offseason in a good way for once. They unloaded
They've had
a
a
lot
busy
of their
season.
they unloaded a lot of their players, which they needed to do because they had the highest. It was like what the largest first team squad in the league last season. A bunch of guys who
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. They honestly, I think they needed a clean house just to give Pochettino a chance to like implement his culture. We talked about Eric Ten Hag putting in his style of play and work ethic.
Yeah.
Give Pochettino the same opportunity. Sometimes you just have to bring in new guys or get rid of old ones. Guys who are going to buy into the system, who aren't tired as well of the previous culture and just being like, oh, like nothing's going to change. And I think they could do very well this season. It's unfortunate they just lost their new player to an ACL injury.
Oh my God,
So
that sucks.
so that might change things because I didn't realize that when I made these rankings.
Dude, he is he's an on fire scoring machine. And yeah, he's out for what, 3 to 6 weeks potentially? Or was it months?
Um, it's gonna be a while. He won't be here for a little bit. I'm seeing if I can find any updates.
He was on my dang fantasy team and I took him off. I mean, it's funny though, because like even though Chelsea did they kind of clean house, they got rid of quite a few players. They also got rid of some friggin' good players, in my opinion. Like they could have gotten rid of like lesser players and kept these guys, but then again, you have that problem with like, are they going to play? Do they sit on the bench? Like that kind of thing. But I think them bringing in like Nkuku, he's going to be, I think, probably the biggest threat. And if he's actually out for that long, like that is huge for them.
It looks like, per this latest report, that the club is hopeful that he'll only miss only a few weeks rather than months.
That's good because if he was going to miss longer than a few weeks, they honestly probably would have been hunting for another striker.
Yeah. So
Because God knows they can't score for shit.
no, but you know what? Maybe Pochettino can fix something. I don't know. I also have Aston Villa. I don't know. I was looking through my options.
Well, you just
Uh, I was a bit concerned about Brighton because they've lost so many people. I really here's the thing. I want Brighton to finish in that 5 through 7 because I really enjoy the manager. Watching
Yes,
them play is beautiful.
it's so much fun.
They play soccer. They play football the way it's meant to be played.
Yeah, like fun. Like they play very fun. They play very. They have a lot of flair. They, I feel like watching them. It's like, are they ever gonna give up? Are they ever gonna like be disheartened? Even
Exactly.
when they're down, they still are playing like their like pants are on fire.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's beautiful. The movement of the ball, the way the players know exactly where to go, and the like some of the off ball movement that you'll see because they're already getting themselves ready for the next run and through ball that has to be played.
Yes.
That and those are things that will not show up on a stat board anywhere, but those are what can make any average team be able to compete against anyone else in the league. And that's not me even. I'm not saying this is an average team, but like that's how big of a difference something like that can make. Um, so
Yeah.
I want them to be in 5 through 7. I think Chelsea's going to take a jump up. Aston Villa finished 7th last season, so they could do it again.
They could. Yeah.
Um,
So
I,
it's definitely not like out of the realm of possibility.
yeah, and because Brighton's playing in Europa, they're going to have that gruesome Thursday to Saturday schedule.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if Brighton have really brought in much as far as depth goes.
I don't believe they have, from what I remember. It looked more like an off season of them losing
Actually,
players. Or,
um, oh wait,
oh
they
wait,
brought in a
Pedro.
bunch.
Pedro was a good pickup by them.
One, two, three, four, five, six, and then about one, two, three, four,
Yeah,
five,
you're looking
six,
at it.
about 1,000 players came back from loan.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the key transfers was they picked up Pedro. That was a
Yeah.
good job. James Milner. You know how much we love James Milner on this podcast.
Yes,
But
we love Granddad.
they lost McAllister.
True,
That's huge.
they did lose McAllister, but they also brought in Dahoud
True.
from Dortmund. He was good there. I liked him. What I'm going to be interested in seeing with Brighton is Ferguson healthy. They're
Yes.
like 19-year-old Irish striker who was supposed to be incredible. We didn't get to see a lot of him last season because he got injured,
He'll be
but
excited.
he's supposed to be a scoring machine.
What you know what with the way their manager gets his team ready for every single match, I could believe it. Could you please talk about
Right?
Tottenham?
What do you mean talk about Tottenham?
You
They're
have
always in that
you
spot.
have them in your seventh
They're
spot.
always there.
They weren't there
Of
last
course,
year.
because they somehow seems to always float around it.
They weren't there last year.
Oh man, one season
Look,
you
this
went Chelsea from freaking like 11th to top five.
were, were
So
they last year?
I'm pretty sure they were like at bottom half of the table.
They were 12.
Okay, that's worse than 11th. But
No,
you
but
have them.
yeah, but it's better than bottom
You
half.
that's a jump.
It's better than bottom half. But
That is a
I
move.
look, Tottenham, absolute shambles of an organization. Culture, absolutely shitty. Kane, we don't even know if he's going to be there for the full season. There's so much talk about this. This look, here's what I don't understand. Right, let's take away my biases from Bayern. Okay, I'm going to try this, and you can bias check me
Multiple. You have multiple biases.
as I go through this. You can bias check me. Okay, if you are the management of this club, you
Which
have
one?
of Tottenham, you have two options. One, send Kane somewhere else and get some money out of it. Or two, lose him for free because he is not staying. And
No.
you know what would really suck? You lose him for free and then he goes to a direct rival within the Premier League. If you send him to Bayern, you will never have to see him again because you're not in Champions League.
No. You're not
you're
even
we're,
in Europe. You're
Yeah, exactly. So at least if you send him to Bayern, he might stay there for a couple of years. You keep him in the Premier League, you're fucked. And he's
Yeah.
scoring
I
4
mean,
goals on you first match.
you saw, I'm sure you did, like today, apparently Tottenham rejected $100 million bid from Bayern.
And no one's gonna pay anything more than that.
Oh, like they're overvaluing him to the point of not being able to move him because they're being children about it.
Yeah, and we've talked to our friend Tom, right? Big Tottenham dude. He keeps defending this organization, saying, "Well, if you sell him, you have to sell him appropriately because look at what like Declan Rice went for. Even though Declan Rice is like 6 years younger."
Yeah, Declan Rice is literally like 24 or
Yeah,
22. He's
I
young.
think it's 20. I think it's 24. But
Yeah,
that's what Declan Rice is going for, and we know Tottenham wants to make the money out of this. But your worst case scenario is horrendous for your entire club. Your worst case scenario will
yeah,
set you back so far as a club because you're going to lose Kane, you're going to lose the goals, and you're going to lose the money that he could have brought you by selling him. And you could have used that money to go buy someone else because you're still a big name club. But you know what? If you don't do well, no one's going to want to play for you. That's every one of these big clubs that's gone through low dips has had that issue. And
yeah,
Tottenham, get your shit together, sell Kane, go buy another younger striker, and save face. Thank you.
yeah.
You can
Like,
bias check me.
uh, I mean, I agree with you because they're not only just like the fact they're going to lose out on money if they don't sell him. If he is probably, I would argue, Tottenham's most legendary club player at this point.
Yeah,
Like, do something good for him. Don't ruin this. Don't ruin the image with that's associated with him in the club. Like the way they're acting is not, in my opinion, like
respectful.
good for anyone. Yeah, it's not respectful either, like at all.
No,
He's done
it's
so much for this club. Like, give him something good. Give him like a
it's very
proper
childish.
send off.
Yeah, it's I know what they're doing. I'm not going to say like, oh, I don't know. Like, we know what they're doing. They want more money and they
Yeah.
want him to stay. That's what they really want. They want to somehow convince him to stay. And I've heard a lot of pundits discuss why is Harry Kane so pressed about leaving to Bayern? Why not stay in the Premier League and get the all-time goal scorer title? Because he
Who
wants
cares?
to win a league title and a chance at Champions League. Because let me tell you, Champions League is unlike any other thing that you can win. Didier Drogba had a hard time winning Champions League, and Drogba was in a class of his own.
Oh yeah.
He won what? One?
Seriously. I think so. One with Chelsea.
And he's one of the greatest of all time. And he
Yes.
was better than Kane is.
Was, yeah. Yeah, he definitely was better than Kane is.
Yeah. And like Kane knows this. Kane's not getting any younger. And there's so much like we've had an entire summer of this. And Tottenham management is being so childish about this. They're like give us $300 million and the rights to name your first child or we're not doing this deal. And I heard a new rumor
Right?
today that part apparently of what Tottenham's strategy is that Harry Kane's wife is currently pregnant. And apparently she's due in the next week or two. And allegedly,
Dicks.
Harry Kane wants this whole thing to be over before the birth of this child so that him and his wife know where to go so that she can give birth
Right?
and he can be there for it. And I don't know if that's true, but with the games that have been played for 3 months, I'd believe it.
Yeah. I would believe it. I just don't get it. Like, it sucks when teams act like this. Like, if you care about this person so much,
But they don't care. They don't care about winning.
let
They don't
him
care about anything besides
let
money.
them let them go. Let them go. Let them
I
go
mean, we saw
blossom.
this with Barcelona too. These big clubs don't care.
PSG.
Yeah, PSG. I don't even. Here's I don't want to even consider them a big club because they haven't won anything. They're just the only team out of France.
They're not going to win the Champions League again.
They're just the only team in
It's just
France.
never going to
That's the
happen.
only thing they have to their name.
The only thing they have to their name is Mbappe and Neymar. If
And
they weren't
Mbappe
there,
wants to leave.
we wouldn't even talk about them.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
ugh,
I don't know.
we could have an episode
I get
about
heated.
that.
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna move on. You have Tottenham in your seventh spot. I have Aston Villa. I think Tottenham are once again going to miss European competition. Could I see them going into the 5 through 7? Yes. What I think it would be hilarious if they went to what is it, Europa Conference? That would be so funny.
Conference.
That would be hilarious.
Watch Tottenham win the league. Just watch it happen.
The world would implode. All right. Let's let's
Kane
move on.
leaves, Tottenham somehow win the Premier League, and then Bayern don't win the Bundesliga.
You know what? We're gonna move on. We're gonna let's first welcome some new friends to the Premier League. So
Oh, we're
they
gonna go
have
for friends.
well
You don't even want to talk about relegation?
well. Here's the thing. I need to talk about the
Oh,
new teams that have made it to the Premier League
okay, fair.
before I can talk about relegation.
That's fair.
Would you like to welcome our Premier League friends, the teams?
Our three newcomers.
Yeah,
All right, well, this is actually really exciting this year because we have two teams that are coming back to the Premier League. They've been here before, they know what it's about. But we have one team that has never been in the top flight league ever. Ever, ever, ever. They went from non-league football. So basically, groundskeepers, they they
picture
were
your local
basically
YMCA team
picture
because
any Volo team you played on.
any adult rec league team, and also by the way, your local adult league might have better facilities than this squad.
Dude, I think their stadium is amazing, and I cannot wait to watch it be played in.
I love the entrance for the away fans, but go ahead,
Oh yeah. All
announce
right.
this team.
So non-league to Premier League. That's like 8 or 9 tiers, some huge number. We have Luton Town,
Woo!
and their stadium sits in a neighborhood. It is literally surrounded by houses. It is so cool. I think it looks cool.
It looks like those like pictures we used to see of like the FA Cup when the big teams would go down to
Yes.
like the third, second division teams, and we'd see pictures of like Harry Kane. Someone was sitting on their like balcony of their apartment, of their flat, and would
Yep.
just like look out at the local field and take a picture of Kane. That's what this entire place looks like.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm very excited for them. It'll
I'm
be
really excited for the limited time they will be in the Premier League.
yes. All right, so our other two
I am sad. Hold on, real quick. They do have to spend $10 million to get this thing up to Premier League standard, and
they do.
I think I read an article that like it's not happening this year. It's going to take a couple years to get there.
Oh,
'Cause
the last article I saw about it said that they would be able to have it done within like 4 months.
I hope so because they only have room for 10,000 people right now in their stadium.
I think that's the lowest amount of people.
It is.
I think that's
It
like
is
the least capacity in like the Premier League, which I mean,
by
considering
far.
most of the
Some
stadiums
of
can
these are
hold
like
like
60,000.
40,000.
Some of these are there's I think someone was like 60,000. I don't know, but yeah, let's.
I mean,
Just want,
United's can do 70.
I just wanted to put that out there. Please announce the next two teams.
All right, like I said, the next two teams have been here before. They know the game. They just haven't always been great at playing it. We have Burnley, which is cool for two reasons. Number one, they're back. Number two, their coach is Vincent Company.
And we love Vincent Company.
We do.
We have
And
nothing
I
against
think
him.
that's going to be awesome. No, not
I'm
at all.
I'm I'm excited for Burnley. I think they can make a similar impact to what Fulham did last year. because I think any team that can absolutely just dominate the championship can do
Yeah.
well in Premier League. I think it translates well.
Shred.
I am If they had just barely won championship, I'd be a little concerned. However, because they just dominated, they had over 100 points at the end of the season. I think they'll do fine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking somewhere middle to like bottom
I
half of
think
the
middle.
table. Somewhere in that like maybe like 9 to 12, 9 to 13 range, which isn't bad for a first team coming
Yeah.
up.
No. No, they're going to do well. They have, I mean, Company played under, didn't he play under Pep at City?
Like the first
You can
year,
fact, you can
I'll
fact check
fact
that
check
one.
you.
And we'll introduce our final team. Our last and certainly not least new team this season is Sheffield United, aka the Blades. They're back again.
You also have the blades in your notes because I put that in there.
Did you really? I didn't. I
Yeah.
don't even have that in my notes. I'm just looking at the Premier League table. I just remember that they have the cool nickname because they have like two like scimitars or something like on their logo. But yeah,
Oh,
those are our three new teams: Burnley, Luton Town, and Sheffield United.
so Vincent Company's last game. Is there echo or is that just me?
I didn't hear anything. I mean, I heard you.
That's fine. Um, Vincent Company's last game was in 2019.
Oh, then he definitely played under Pep.
Yeah, Pep was there in, if my internet wants to work, 2016. So they had a couple years overlap.
Oh yeah.
So
So he had
that's
a very
exciting.
good base and like foundation to go and be a manager with.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Burnley. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and say some spoilers for my relegation real quick.
Don't tell me you have Burnley going out.
I do not. I have Luton Town and their YMCA ass facility going back down to the championship.
Oh man, I do
Look,
too.
I think Luton Town might have a couple like surprise games this year. They're quick.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
love to attack directly. They conceded the second fewest goals in the championship last season. Not bad.
Hold
Um,
it. They also got rid of the goalie that was able to do that.
yeah, that's a concern. Um, but like Luton Town, I'm sorry, they're not Premier League level. Let's just be honest here. I hope the fans have a great time, um, time of their life, can play in the background, but they're going straight back down to the championship. Do you agree?
Yes, yes, I do. I have that in the same thing. Like as I said there in my intro, from non-league to Premier League is amazing. I think they're the only team to do it, and they have a player, one player from the non-league time that is still on the team. He's the only player in history that's ever done this, I think, with a
Yeah, I saw
single
that.
team.
It's an incredible story. The next team
But
I have, this is in no particular order, by the way.
noted.
Um, uh, I have the Blades. I have Sheffield.
Yeah, I do
They
not.
have they have no money. They're not. They weren't able to sign anyone in January. Allegedly, their transfer budget is only £20 million. Can't get better if you can't
That's a
sign better
lot. A
players.
lot.
Um, they were also tied for second least amount of goals allowed last season. The last time they were in the Premier League, they had 23 points. If they had 23
Not
points
great.
in last season's Premier League, they would have finished at the bottom. Because Southampton had 25. They lost their best player from last season to this season. They're going straight back to championship. Those are my those are my that's my decision. That
It is
it's just
final.
Nostradamus over here. I'm going to give my last team, and then
Yes.
we can hear your two team. Is that okay?
Mm.
My last team, Deforestation is
Don't say it.
happening. Nottingham
Oh
Forest is
my
going
god.
straight back. Is going back down. Look, I have real concerns about this team. Last season, they only had 8 points on the road. That's not very good. They had 30. They only had 38 goals. There was 38 games. They conceded 68 goals. They were tied for the second worst goal differential in the league. They had 6 clean sheets at home, which really saved them.
Yeah.
But um, they're going back down. The only team that lost more away matches than them was Leeds, and we know where Leeds is playing this year in the
Not the
championship.
Premier League.
Exactly. So Nottingham Forest can go follow their buddy Leeds down. So my 3 teams for my prediction of relegation, and I don't wish this on anybody. We're having a laugh. It's not really funny when teams get relegated. Nottingham
Oh,
Forest,
well,
Sheffield,
unless it's
and
Tottenham.
Luton Town, unless it's Tottenham. And I got Luton Town. What are your 3?
Town. In agreement. It sucks, but I just don't think they have like the budget nor the I don't know, like the facilities and things just to like compete with the teams that they're about to play against. This is going to be a whole like different story for them. West Ham
That's a good one. I like that one.
and last but not least, Nottingham Forest. So I do agree with you, even though I don't want it to happen.
Okay, so we got 2-3 agreement. And again, friends, we did not collaborate on this. We did not look at each other's notes.
We barely even talked about it.
We literally said, here's the outline. See you for the recording.
We'll get better. Don't worry, friends.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm pretty happy that we agreed for the most part.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
This is fun though, because now we get to do the thing, the long awaited. Here's your Premier League team.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There's definitely
I
feedback.
will do.
Real quick.
What?
There's definitely some feedback coming from you when I talk because I can see it on the thing on the right.
Talk.
So we're about to. Did you see the thing go?
Like, teeny bit.
So
No one's going to notice.
we're already almost done with this, anyways.
Yeah.
Friends,
I'm not
it's
upset.
it's been a long time. You all filled out our Google form. We appreciate it. We didn't want to do this halfway through last season because teams were already kind of starting to make their own tiers within the season. We didn't want anyone to get relegated in case like we really thought they fit a team, but we wanted them to stay in their Premier League. So without further ado, Andrew, would you like to do the first friend and his
I
new
will.
Premier League team?
This is fun because I have 3 friends and you have 3 friends.
Oh, that's true.
So, yes, this is for you, Craig Dudley, aka Greg. His real name is Greg. But the running joke is that Starbucks always gets his name wrong.
That's not a running joke. That's their marketing.
True. Greg Dudley. I know what team you actually support, but this is your new team. And we gave this a lot of thought due to the answers that you gave us. Your new team for the 23-24 season is Burnley, new up-and-comer. Claps for you. Basically, all of your current and favorite teams are in mountainous areas, have great hikes to go on, and Burnley is near Forest of Bowland and Yorkshire Dales National Park. So there you go. See your favorite team go on some hikes.
We love that for you. Very excited. Go buy some merch. Go buy some little scarves at least. Do something to support your team. Next up, we have Caitlin Worley. Now, Kate had a dilemma last season.
Didn't Caitlin get married?
That is her dilemma. Yes. But my wife Caitlin has always been a United supporter. However, she was having she was wondering if she needed to switch teams because she was a United supporter based off proximity to other friends growing up. And she was wondering if she needs to pick someone who more so matches her personality. So we did a deep dive and we concluded, Kate, your team is still Manchester United. The area actually fits. Look, Manchester is close to national parks. There's a good amount of art within the city, different museums, and it fits you. You've grown up with it as well. There wasn't a better team in the Premier League, and you know what? You can stay a Red Devil fan. It's okay.
It is okay. Trust me, coming from someone who is one.
Yes. So very excited for you, Kate. Please enjoy. Buy another jersey, um, and have fun with your Red Devils and whatever's going on with the ownership of that organization.
No one knows.
Next up, we have Kareem Gordon. Kareem, you wanted a team that had history. We had to take your personality into this. You're a fun, chatty guy. We know you like to shop a bit because, like, you do got a Tesla and some Lululemon clothes up over there in Las Vegas. Yes, he does live in Las Vegas. You are absolutely crazy about your sports teams. We're going with Newcastle. It fits the history, the people of Newcastle, and from what we know about them, they're also like to chat. They can talk to anyone, and these are the stereotypes that we found on Google. So we're going to go with Newcastle for you. Also, you said your favorite color was black, and Newcastle's colors are white and black, so it worked out. Congratulations, Kareem.
Happy for you.
Would you like to go
All
next?
right. Next up, well, obviously, because Sean, you know who your team is. We talked about this already. Me and Mateo had a deep conversation. We weighed in your reasoning and decided that you can be a Liverpool fan this season.
Would you like to tell our friends what Sean's reasoning was? Because he proposed Liverpool.
No, he knows. He knows. I'm kidding. Sean's biggest proposal was that his friends growing up were Liverpool fans. So why not we decided that you can stick with that camaraderie and have that as the team that you support. Because as we know, friends and family, I have no idea where I was going with that. I had a weird reference to like Vin Diesel and the Fast movies, but I lost it about halfway through.
Look, anything for family.
Family.
Honestly, never underestimate the joy of community, especially for sports. If you're local friends, or honestly friends anywhere, but especially when they're local and you get to like watch games together and cry together and cheer together, if you have the opportunity, take it. Liverpool makes sense if that's all your friends. If that's who they're rooting for, you can join them in all the festivities. So very happy for you, Sean. All right, next we have Irina. Your Google form confused us a bit because you don't hate any teams. You don't have any current favorite teams. You like to put. If you had to choose a Mario Kart character, you went with Yoshi. But then for your favorite US player, you went Megan Rapinoe. So really, this was a little all over the place. But we went to Aston Villa. Aston Villa isn't really hated by anyone. They're pretty neutral with everyone. People like them. But you do have strong opinions, which is where the Megan Rapinoe thing comes in. And Aston Villa is always there to make a statement that they are there, they are not to be messed with, and you need to respect them. So congratulations. Aston Villa is your team.
They have such great colors.
They do.
All right. I guess I can't say our final friend, but our final
Final friend for
team,
tonight.
our final friend for tonight is Brad Burnett. Now, some of his favorite teams were probably names or things you didn't recognize. They were cycling related. And one thing I found out about the team that I chose is that in this town there are a lot of good cycling routes, bike paths, a lot of like it's a very bike friendly town. Another reasoning is this team that I chose has a rich history in football, much like the University of Utah, where he went to college and played on their football team, the American style, and are also red. So this is why we went with Nottingham Forest. Has a
Congratulations.
very congratulations, and they have a very rich history, and a lot of people know that they won the Champions League twice in a row.
And I'm not sorry that we both picked them to get relegated.
We are sorry. We hope it doesn't happen.
We don't hope anyone gets relegated. Well, friends, that is it for now. Thank you for once again joining us on another episode. We do have a couple more friends, or at least one more, that we need to get to for a team. If you don't like the team that we picked, you don't have to choose them. It's
Oh,
just it's a
oh,
convenient
you do.
it's a convenient thing for you all, and to be able to have a team and just kind of be helped in the process of being able to enjoy this sport, being able to enjoy this league. Please
Yep,
follow us on all socials. We're here. We'll try to have a better presence on social media this year, and that'll be one of our goals for this pod. We
that's
kind of
our
suck.
goal.
That's our goal. But yeah, friends, thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
Talk to you later.